Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're talking Uncoupled, episode 4. So, as you know, I have been absolutely loving this series. Again, a huge thank you to everybody who recommended. This episode also loved just kind of a different tone to this one. What's funny about this is I have been blowing through these episodes. As you know, I love it. So I keep watching them, recording. So here I am. I told Jay, I was like, you have got to watch this show. It's the funniest damn thing. It's hilarious. I can't stop laughing. It's a great show. So I get him to watch this episode with me, and it's the most depressing of the episodes so far. But I still love it, and that's okay. Let's dive in. So yeah, this is season 1, episode 4 of Uncoupled. So I don't know if you know, but the episodes actually don't have names. This is just called Chapter 4. Before I dive in, I do want to promote, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. I'm doing all kinds of breakdowns over there. I have so many members. So many of you have jumped on and joined, which I really appreciate. Every one of you really helps me out. Check that out. I really appreciate it. Let's jump in. Okay, so this episode picks up with Michael jogging with Billy. There's some sort of event tonight. Billy's invited Michael to come with him. There's supposed to be some eligible bachelors there that he might be able to set him up with. But they're talking about Stanley. Remember the last episode? Stanley and Michael, of course, had a falling out. So Michael's still not speaking to Stanley. He feels like Stanley betrayed him for going to Colin's house. Right after the breakup. So we find out that Michael is having lunch with his mom. He hasn't told her yet about his breakup with Colin. So we see them at lunch together. Mom is saying things like, take a chill pill, chillax. She has a funny line where she says, you've kind of been a bitch today. Well, he says, I have something big to tell you. And in true comedic fashion, what happens? He tells her that Colin dumped him, took all his shit, dumped him in a text. That's literally what Michael says. As he tells her this, she falls into one of those, I don't know what you call them, the grates, whatever they are, the underground access points in New York, that you see all over the place. She falls into one. Okay, meanwhile, they're still trying to sell Claire's house. So Suzanne and Michael meet up at Claire's. There seems to be, some sort of showing going on. There's also an art installation happening at the same time. Well, of course, we know who her art dealer is. It's Stanley. So he runs into Michael. There's tension. It's awkward. He says he wants to be there to supervise the installation. Suzanne says when Michael walks off, she tells Stanley he's just hurting. And Stanley says, well, we're 50. And Suzanne says, didn't I go to your 50th several years ago? So again, I got to give this show credit because I love how they handle age and aging versus and just like that. This one, there's definitely acknowledgement and age jokes, but it's not this depressing, god-awful thing like there was on Just Like That and Just Like That. Just totally different writing, so much later, more fun. I'm just enjoying the shit out of the show, if you can't tell. Okay. Let's see here. They talk to Claire about taking an offer. They made an offer. Somebody made an offer on her place, and but it's below asking. So she's like, nope, not going to do it. Turns out she's not really interested in moving on. Well, Suzanne comes up with this smart idea to talk her into, hey, let us show you what your life could be like. Don't get stuck in this place. Let us show you a different place. They want to take her downtown and show her, what it could be like to live in a new area. So she's free at 5. She's going to meet up with them then. There's some tension between her and Suzanne, which I thought was going to build to something, but she said later on we find out, no, she's just cold to everybody. She said she's cold to people that work for her and her friends and her family. But they seem to bond and get on later. Okay. So from here we go, Michael goes to check on his mom. Of course, she fell down, she hurt her hand. He's gone to check on her. And Dad tries to stop him. Things are weird. And I literally wrote in my notes, oh shit, Colin's there. So Colin's there. So it turns out, we find out here, he's on a text thread with the family. So he saw that the mom had been hurt. So he actually went over to make sure that Michael's mom was okay, which was, it was thoughtful. So the parents really want them to get back together. So the mom's pushing hard and saying, listen, Michael's dad and I took some time off when Dad was sleeping with his secretary. And she's like, what? These things happen. You never think about them again. It's fine. So Mom is encouraging Michael to go have this conversation with Colin. Find out, fix this. Find out why he left. Michael chases Colin and says he's sorry for for acting weird around him, basically, and thanks him for checking on his mom. We do find out an interesting turn of events that, he kept alluding to Colin being rich and being a hedge fund manager, which I mentioned before. That is some serious money when you get into that. But Michael seems to be doing well. He's in real estate. I mean, he's a beautiful dresser. I just assumed he was doing fine for money, but they're alluding to things like he might not be. He's still paying off Colin's birthday party, it turns out. Well, the shit really hits the fan when Michael finds out that Colin got a dog. Apparently, Michael always wanted a dog. Colin never let him have one. Well, what happens? They split. Colin gets a dog. Meanwhile, Claire walks out. She's been viewing this apartment in downtown Manhattan right there, and she walks out and gives it high praise by saying, I don't hate it. So Billy ends up inviting the group to the Manhattan magazine party. So they kind of see this as an opportunity to bring Claire around. Maybe she'll meet a nice man. Maybe she'll see the benefits of living, downtown. So they go, and we see a nice bonding scene here where Claire and Suzanne are kind of getting to know each other more, hitting it off. It's kind of nice to see, because I felt like there was friction before, but now they seem to be warming to each other. So introducing his friends to Michael, as he introduces them as newly eligible. Michael kind of lays it all out there about the breakup, how he's still paying off the 50th birthday party where his boyfriend dumped him, and he was dumped via text, the whole story. Well, these friends, I don't know why this scene really cracked me up. These friends are their partners, and they end up feeling sorry for Michael and basically invite him to a pity threesome. Michael literally has a line where he says, are you offering me a pity three-way? I'm not feeling a charity fuck tonight, so good luck and thanks. So again, this wasn't overall as funny of an episode as some of the other ones have been, but that part, I actually found myself laughing pretty hard. Meanwhile, Billy sneaks up and he's like, I'm affected by this too, meaning like, hey, invite me to your threesome. Okay. So, Since You've Been Gone is playing. Claire is drunk and dancing, letting her hair down. Michael makes this face and realizes he knows the performer on stage. There's a drag performer up on stage, and he realizes, oh my God, I know him. And I'm thinking, who is this? Is he recognizing Colin? Who's up there? No, it's the counselor. Remember in what was the first episode, they meet for one session of counseling? Well, this is that counselor. So Michael walks up to the counselor and says basically, look, we split right after one session with you. And again, this is where I think the show does a good job. They take, something ridiculous like arguing with your counselor, who's also a drag performer, about the mistakes you made in the relationship. But it shows that Michael, he wasn't perfect. He had a lot to learn, and it's kind of showing his growth. He's starting to realize, oh crap, it wasn't just Colin, it was me too, and I could have done a better job on the relationship. So I do like seeing the growth in Michael. It makes him a much more likable character versus somebody like Carrie, who just, I don't know, it's just hard. You see no growth there, especially in it just like that. It's the same Carrie, selfish from start to finish, no growth, so it's very unlikable. Okay, so Michael, after taking a walk alone, he tells the bartender to get the guy at the end of the bar a drink. Well, it turns out who's there? It's Stanley. So they make up, and it's nice. I'm glad that they did. Stanley's very kind about it. We find out Stanley's intention was actually really good. He went to Colin's dinner party to try to find out what happened and what made Colin leave so abruptly. They also talk about how weird it is that Colin got a dog, even though that's something Michael always wanted. Now, it seems to be at the end of the episodes, Michael gets kicked in the nuts a lot. So his kicked in the nuts moment at the end of this episode is, remember I told you about the family text? His mom got sent a text saying she feels a little bit better where she had fallen and hurt her wrist or her hand. She said that she loves Vicodin and wine. That's what her text said. But below that, it's revealed that Colin left the conversation, meaning he's dropped out of the family text group that he was in. So Michael puts his head on Stanley, and there's a nice moment between Michael and Stanley. And again, I'm happy that those two made up and happy that Michael kind of came to his senses a little bit. I understand why he'd be upset that Stanley, I don't know if you'd use the word betrayed, but, went immediately to Collins after it all went down. But I do think Michael was wrong there. He was too harsh on Stanley. So that's it for the episode. Again, a good one. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know. I think I'm being selfish. I wish they were all as funny as the other ones were. This one just wasn't as funny, but that's okay. It was still a good episode. Move the storyline along, and I'm excited to see what's next. So I'm going to leave it here, and you better believe I'm going to binge watch the next one, and I'll be recording very soon. So check back. Let me know in the comments if you're watching, if you're enjoying it, what your thoughts are, if you're on the same page, if you're seeing things differently, whatever it is, let me know. Thank you guys so much for the recommendation on the show. If you have another one that you're super into, let me know in the comments. And do check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps, or hit that thanks button. They both really help me out. Hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.